Who is the greatest underdog in Muay Thai history?
Nice skip, knee into the punch, lands it!
It's this man right here.
So if the ropes weren't there, they'd still be looking for him. Time and time again, I've shown. Don't doubt me. The doubters are just fueling the fire.
Everyone doubted this underdog legend on his rise to the top.
Doubt me now! Doubt me now!
Look at this one, look. We'll come up, eh? Dream big, mate. You know, sky's the limit. Train hard until your idols become your rivals. Greatness cannot be denied.
Unless you've been living under a rock, his most recent fight proved that he should never be doubted again.
Does that mean I'm the man now?
That means you are the man! Doubt me now! Doubt me now!
After being defeated by the scariest Muay Thai fighter, no one thought this man would defeat the GOAT of Muay Thai. But the most important lesson in combat sports is that no one should underestimate a man who believes in himself. Ultimate self-belief, when combined with dedication and the right team, allowed this underdog legend to pull off the biggest upset in the history of Muay Thai. So who is he exactly? How did he rise to the top, and how did he do the impossible? In this episode, we feature how the greatest underdog in Muay Thai history became the king of kings in one championship.
You're looking at one of the most skilled Muay Thai practitioners on the planet.
Time and time again, I've shown. Don't doubt me. The doubters are just fueling the fire.
This epic story shows that it doesn't matter who doubts you in life. By believing in yourself and being surrounded by people who believe in you, it is possible to achieve the impossible. Fight fans, this is the story of Jonathan Haggerty, the General. Earning this nickname by strategically destroying the monsters of his time, this man has a story that the world needs to know. His first legendary accomplishment was fighting a Muay Thai GOAT with 430 fights.
The great Sam A. Rodtang!
Since he was only 22 years old with 16 fights, it was one of the fastest rises to the top in combat sports history. No one thought Haggerty would win this fight. He proved the world wrong at only 22 years old. But right after this fight, the General had a target on his back. With this legendary victory, the scariest Muay Thai fighter would snatch the title back from him for the motherland of Muay Thai. Rodtang would hand him 2 back-to-back defeats, with one being humiliating. These types of prolific losses would put most men down. But like a real champion, the General rose to the top once again, showing the world how big his heart is. 3 years later, after these prolific losses, Haggerty called out the greatest of all time, Nong-O.
Nong-O, I'd love to fight Nong-O, it'd be a dream come true.
No one thought Haggerty would win this fight. In fact, most people thought Nong-O would simply run through Haggerty. But the General didn't just win this fight, he absolutely destroyed the legend. This knockout gave the General one of the most spectacular victories of all time. You see, the world doubted this man, but those who knew him knew he was destined for greatness.
And I grew up with everyone, but around me, my team around me, kept like pushing it into my ears. You're the one, like you're going to be the best. From then onwards, I just thought I'm going to go to the top.
In the UK, Haggerty had one of the fastest rises to the top in Muay Thai history. At only 17 years old, he was already facing A-class fighters in professional bouts. Yes, as a teenager, he was already knocking everyone out.
So when I was 17, I was fighting 30-year-olds. And then from then onwards, I started knocking them out.
In order to pursue greatness, Haggerty was all in from the beginning. He sacrificed and gave up everything to become the best.
Your friends, they invite you out. That was with me, I turned everything down. I missed out on sort of partying life, sacrifices. I stopped everything to get to where I wanted to be, and it paid off.
What is his style? The General is not only powerful, but as technical as they come. Haggerty represents a new generation hybrid style. This style is slick and technical while having the power to finish anyone. He even describes his own fighting style as evil.
Evil. Aggressive. I'm hitting to hurt. If I'm on you, I'm on you. I want to take you out every shot. I want to take you out. But yeah, outside of the ring, I'm the nicest man in the world.
From the outside, he is a sniper. Super clean and crispy, being able to score with technical strikes such as the teep and the switch kick.
This could get nasty. A beautiful kick to open up there from Haggerty.
His push kicks are so powerful that he can send anyone flying into the air, even legends.
That's obviously me and Rodtang, TPing him out the ring. So if them ropes weren't there, they'd still be looking for him.
But like any knockout artist, when he spots a weakness, the general becomes relentless.
To close that distance, that right hand. Push kick throws that right hand. Super burner from Haggerty. There's another. Third performance from the former world champion. Naito's got to move, man. That right hand is coming over the top.
If you let Haggerty know you're hurt, then he will finish you. But perhaps above all else, Haggerty is extremely ambitious, and this ambition is backed by the ultimate self-belief. He has already proved all doubters wrong in Muay Thai. Now he wants to be a triple sport champion.
3 belts. 3 belts. One championship belts.
Fight fans, this is a generational prodigy. He is the man who has already shocked the world. Welcome back to another episode of Lawrence Kenshin Striking Breakdowns. In this episode, we explore the legendary underdog story of the General, Jonathan Haggerty. Many people know where Haggerty ended up in his career, but not many people know where he began. You see, Jonathan Haggerty found greatness by following his father's footsteps as a fighter.
My dad was an MMA fighter originally, and that's what got me into it. He sort of opened up his own gym, and I followed in his footsteps. He's a role model to me. Yeah, he's a role model. Without him, I don't think anything could have happened.
With the perfect environment, surrounded by ambitious and capable fighters, Haggerty was destined for greatness.
So I was about 7'6", so soon as really. I had the gym to go to, just to chill out in the gym, being around fighters, being around motivated people, helped a lot. I've never had a job. Really? It's growing up as a kid, it's always been fighting. My dad obviously looked after me from when I was growing up. Never done a job all my friends done. And I just went straight into fighting, and then it started paying off.
Look at this one, look. You come up, mate. Dream big, mate. You know, sky's the limit.
But perhaps the greatest part of his story was who he idolised as a kid. When the General was young, he idolised Superlek, Sam A, and Nong-O. One day, his idols would become his rivals.
Train hard until your idols become your rivals.
Now, how did he get there? Before he was the underdog, he was the talented young prodigy who took out everyone. Starting his professional career at 16, Haggerty destroyed more experienced and older opponents. At only 18 years old, with only 5 professional bouts under his belt, Haggerty would already fight for a world title. Against a 28-year-old with 70 fights, Haggerty would secure a 3rd round knockout with what would later become his signature elbow. Just one fight later, the General would challenge for another world title. It is here Haggerty would pull off one of the fastest knockouts in World Championship history. With the first shot he threw, the General sent his opponent into the ropes. To finish his opponent, he followed up with thunderous kicks to finish the fight. In his 8th fight for the 2nd world title, the General delivered a spectacular knockout in an incredible 20 seconds. 2 world titles as a teenager is a testament to the talent of Haggerty. You see, Haggerty's career so far is nothing short of spectacular. Within 8 wins, he had 2 world titles. The General also had a knockout rate of 100%, with 4 knockouts delivered in the first round. For an 18-year-old at the start of his professional career, he was no underdog. To the people who knew him, he was the next big thing.
So as a junior, I didn't have much fights. I had about 4, and then I got pushed into taking my shin guards off. I started fighting men at a young age.
So when I was 17, I was fighting 30-year-olds.
And then from then onwards, I started knocking them out.
Everyone wanted to fight this young prodigy, and he was being thrown to the wolves.
I had 14 fights. All the promotions were getting me to fight the best Thais in the world. And in my head, when they was offering me these fights, I was thinking, no, I don't want to fight. I had 14 fights, I was still basically a beginner. But then I took them, and I took risks, and I prospered.
But rather than going the easy path, Haggerty wanted to fight the very best. Unlike many people who run away from their fears, the general runs towards his fears. That is, he has never wanted to pick his opponents. He has always wanted to fight someone who he shouldn't be able to beat.
I need fear to fight. I fight better with fear.
Even though Haggerty would receive his first defeat from an A-class Thai opponent, it only made him better.
Took the back again, big score there, showing dominance. He's took the back about 3 times now, hasn't he?
A great game plan from John Pop to grind John down and just lock and clinch. So after that fight, we just clinched. We went clinch crazy. I got all the boys to go clinch crazy actually because I didn't want it to happen to any of the lads.
Displaying a winner's mindset, he rose up once again like any real champion would. A year later, he fought for another world title. In this fight, Haggerty put on a masterclass in switch kicks. He even sent his opponent out of the ring with an elbow. To finish the fight, Haggerty would land a beautiful hand trap cross. This hand trap creates an opening for the power cross. By the age of 20 years old, Haggerty now has 3 world titles. In Muay Thai, there are 3 titles that are the most prestigious. There's the historic Rajadamnern and Lumpini Stadium belt. And then there's One Championship. One Championship is currently hosting the highest level of striking fights in the world. Like a true warrior, in Haggerty's first fight, he would face the future One Muay Thai world champion Joseph Lasiri. It is here that he would showcase his most epic weapon, the spike elbow. Haggerty established dominance right away, scoring beautiful teeps and lightning fast switch kicks. When Lasiri charged in, he'd stop the charge with a perfect switch kick. His elbows were aggressive and precise. Haggerty's stance switching, pattern setting and pattern breaking were all on point. This technical masterclass showed that Haggerty was ready for the big leagues. But the highlight of this fight was his legendary spike elbow. To land it, Haggerty first establishes the push kick. Then, he uses this Thai hop to feint the push kick. In using the Thai hop, he closes the range and sets up momentum for the spike elbow. With this epic fight, the world knew that Haggerty was a real prospect. However, it'll be his next fight that Haggerty would become the real deal. Haggerty would face off against a GOAT in his second bout in One Championship for the prestigious One World title. To know the gravity of what Haggerty was facing, he was fighting the great Sam A. This is the legend with 430 fights, with all the accomplishments that any fighter can only dream of. Now, the underdog story of Haggerty truly begins. He was absolutely not supposed to win this fight.
I get Christian Knowles calling me up. They've given you the One Championship title fight. Joking me, you're not serious. You're not serious. And it took a week to kick in.
I probably had about 5% chance winning that fight. Like I said, nobody believed I was going to win that fight. I was very confident. I shouldn't have been confident, but I was so confident.
Haggerty even looked up to Sam A when he was young.
Sam A is, I would recall, the best. I think he's the best Thai fighter that's come out of Thailand. Unbelievable. Once again, I used to watch him when I was younger.
After all, this Muay Thai legend has the fastest left roundhouse of all time.
The great Sam A. Gayang Hadao does it again.
With only 13 fights, Haggerty dethroned one of the greatest of all time with 430 fights. Not only did he dethrone a GOAT, he did it in a spectacular fashion.
He said power. I hit like no flyweight in the world. Every shot I'm throwing, I'm trying to end your night.
So how did he do it? First, he gained momentum by landing powerful kicks. This gave him an edge on the scorecards. Haggerty continued to pressure, but this activated Sam A's championship spirit. When the champion fought back, Haggerty met his aggression with his signature elbow. In a funny moment, the general threw with so much intent that when he missed, he sent himself flying.
Oh, gotta defend yourself at all times.
But when Haggerty does land, he sends Sam A flying.
Nice push kick. What a shot.
Throughout the fight, the prodigy proved too powerful for the legend. He was even able to drop the legend twice.
Nice skip, knee into the punch, lands it. Leg of Jonathan Haggerty, nice body shot.
Both fighters showed tremendous heart and skill, but Haggerty proved to the world that he is the real deal.
I messaged one championship like a few years ago. Great show, I would love to be a part of it one day. Didn't get back to me, unfortunately. So when I won the world title now, I went back onto our chat on One Championship and I looked at that message and I'd love to be a part of it. And that's when it comes surreal. Like, I knew what I wanted and I achieved it. I broke my nose, my feet were mangled, my elbows, I couldn't straighten them. I was feeling a lot of pain after the fight. But when I had the belt wrapped around me, like, it took the pain away. And do you know what made it the better? They wheeled in my opponent on the other hospital bed. We both looked at each other and went like that. And it was a war.
Broken nose, broken knuckle. We did it, baby. Fucking did it.
And just like that, within 2 fights, Haggerty became the Muay Thai world champion.
So I won the belt and then I called out the best in the world. If you're going to be the best, you've got to fight the best. People must have thought I was mad when I called out Rodtang, Nong-O, the most feared Thai boxer in the world.
Rodtang, the Iron Man!
I called him out, big mistake. He took my belt.
With aspirations to be the greatest of all time, Haggerty called out the scariest Muay Thai fighter. His name is Rodtang, the Iron Man.
Rodtang is an animal. He is an absolute beast.
This monster is notoriously relentless and aggressive. When other legends hit him, he feels nothing. But when Rodtang hits his opponents, they feel everything. As one of the most ferocious fighters of all time, his technical ability is usually overlooked. But make no mistake about it, he is a powerhouse technician. In One Championship, he is universally feared and undefeated.
And it comes Rodtang. The power, the punishment. He's got power. He's got dynamite in his hands.
So how did the General do against the Iron Man? In the first 2 rounds, Haggerty fought a beautiful fight. He used his teeps and switch kicks to keep the distance and score. At one point, Haggerty even sent Rodtang flying out of the ring.
So if the ropes weren't there, they'd still be looking for him.
Haggerty used all of his best moves, and even when his signature elbow landed, it did nothing to the Iron Man. Haggerty even delivered a perfect head kick, and Rodtang felt absolutely nothing.
How do you stay standing after them shots? He just shakes it off, which is demoralizing.
While Haggerty was scoring well, Rodtang was taking his time to properly read his opponent. When Rodtang presses harder, this made Haggerty start trading. This was playing into Rodtang's game, as he absolutely thrives in exchanges. With this, Rodtang began taking back the momentum. While exchanging fire with fire against Rodtang isn't wise of Haggerty, it gave us beautiful exchanges. The more that Haggerty tried to exchange, the deeper he fell into Rodtang's game. Up until this point, it was a back and forth fight. However, Rodtang can now read Haggerty's strikes, and he took back the momentum with high pressure and heavy blows. In an epic moment, Rodtang even showed how cheeky he is after a big dodge. Despite Haggerty's long-range control, all that Rodtang needed was a moment to capitalise. Through his pressure, Rodtang trapped Haggerty, catching the kick and delivering a powerful cross and liver shot which rocks the general. The next sequence would decide the close fight. As Rodtang pressures Haggerty into the corner and forced him to circle out, Rodtang delivered a huge lunging left hook and overhand that drops the champion. But like a true champion, Haggerty got up. Haggerty tries to survive by maintaining distance, but Rodtang wins the heart of the crowd by calling him forward.
No fight. I already won. I've got the belt, you come at me.
By fighting until the final bell, both fighters would instantly become legends of Muay Thai. Real fight fans knew how close this fight was, and this meant an instant rematch. If Rodtang didn't get the knockdown, the fight could have gone either way, but this was Rodtang's night, and it was his destiny. With this victory, the biggest superstar in one championship was born.
To lose the belt against him the first time, it was a bit controversial. I thought I won. It was devastating. I was heartbroken. They offered me the rematch. I turned it down. I said I'm not ready yet. I trained for an extra 2-3 months, got my head right again. I said, yeah, I'm ready now.
You see, in combat sports, one fighter's thrill is another fighter's agony. Little did Haggerty know, in the next fight, he would suffer a humiliating defeat.
It is the rematch the world has been waiting for.
While Haggerty took 5 months off, Rodtang went on a tear. They also had a different purpose to fight. Haggerty was fighting to reclaim his legacy. Rodtang, however, was fighting for his father.
เขาเลยว่าอยากดูมากหมอบอกว่าเป็นโรคร้ายครับเนื้อร้ายครับครับก็ไฟล์นี้วันที่10 มกราคมผมก็จะสู้เพื่อพ่อ
In this epic rematch, Haggerty came out with a similar game plan. He stayed long with his kicks and sniped from the outside. But with so much on the line, it wasn't long before Rodtang turned on his ultra-aggressive mode. Within the first minute, he dropped the general.
Goes to the liver, a taste of the power early in these 4-ounce gloves. There is no room for error. Good right hand there from Haggerty. There's the front kick to the face, and Haggerty's hurt. Jack, the body shot hurts Haggerty.
Although Haggerty took the count and got up, Rodtang was relentless and hunted the finish. At one point, Haggerty even called Rodtang forward. Then he landed a big push kick to Rodtang's mouth.
High kick again. Feet meet mouth.
During some moments, Haggerty evaded well and scored back beautifully. Despite getting dropped early, Haggerty fought well and made it to the 3rd round. It's in this round that Rodtang went all out. While Haggerty was doing well fighting off of the back foot, Rodtang's pressure was eventually too much. Whenever Haggerty tried to be aggressive, he would get drawn into Rodtang's game. Eventually, Rodtang cornered Haggerty and hunted the body relentlessly.
Rodtang backs him off, body shot, belly button through the back, liver shot, down again!
Rodtang was so ferocious when overwhelming Haggerty that he didn't even care that his mouthguard flew out.
Referee calls time. Is it a mouthguard dislodged? It is.
At one point, Rodtang even played mind games and called Haggerty forward, shouting that it's for the belt and told him to stop running. The start of the end was when Haggerty attempted a flying knee. Failing the flying knee allowed Rodtang to push Haggerty into the ropes. Rodtang then timed big combinations against the rebound, dropping Haggerty a second time. But like a true champion, Haggerty got up once again to meet Rodtang head on. Even though the general landed an elbow, Rodtang's body shot was simply too powerful. With 3 knockdowns, the fight was over.
Rodtang! 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 Rodtang!
Although Haggerty lost the fight, he earned the respect of all fight fans around the world. Few fighters would keep on getting up and fighting with so much heart. Even Rodtang himself told Haggerty how much of a heart he had.
ได้ชั่วเขาคนก็ไม่ได้รู้จักรถถังมันคือเก่งกีฬาจริงแล้วก็พอชกเสร็จเขาก็คือเขาจะเป็นแชมป์ในรุ่นของเขาในอนาคตถ้าอยากเจอผมอีกสักครั้งก็เดี๋ยวลองไป MMA ดู
After this fight, Haggerty would take an 11th-month break. Now, did you think this is where the journey ends? No, this is where the underdog journey to greatness truly begins.
I've learned more than them on them 3 losses than I have any of the wins. I lost one, I came back stronger, I won. I lost another one, got signed to 1 championship. Minor setbacks, major comebacks.
In his next fight, Haggerty faced off against Taiki Naito, Japan's top striker. The general had an amazing comeback fight, fighting beautifully like his idol Nong-O. Much of this technical storm was the exact same shot selection as Nong-O. Naito thought he could capitalize on Haggerty's emotions and aggression, but by fighting Rodtang, Haggerty learned to leave his emotions outside of the cage. More precise and more powerful than ever, the general almost floored Naito with just a low kick. Eventually, Haggerty got a good read on Naito's low kicks and sends him to the floor.
The big kibosh! Feel the release! The right hand from Haggerty sent him to the canvas!
Step forward.
Haggerty remained beautifully composed as he hunted the finish, showing that he's evolving as a fighter. Although he wasn't flashy when hunting for the finish, we did see Haggerty pull out a little something we haven't seen from him before.
You see Haggerty in the background there, dancing in the circle, looking across at Naito.
Something that he had been working on in his training camp. Oh, actually, we mean this.
Haggerty. Oh, taekwondo kick there.
The next knockdown was set up by Haggerty stance switching. By landing the southpaw roundhouse, he establishes it as a threat. He would then create an opening with this threat. After feinting the southpaw roundhouse, Haggerty steps into orthodox to throw a hand trap right hook. That puts Naito down again.
Take the left kick. Fake.
Catch. Catches the push kick, throws that right hand.
Naito took the shot like a true warrior and kept fighting. But this fight was all Haggerty. Haggerty showed an evolved version of himself.
Gotta move, man. That right hand is coming over the top.
After the fight, he laid down an epic prophecy that later would come true.
And now on my way back, just got my first win back from off that loss against Taiki Naito. 2 more wins, I'd say. I'll get that belt back.
Not only did it come true, the general would do it against the idol that he modelled his style from. In the next fight, Haggerty faced up against Lumpini champion Monkompet. Before the fight, Monkompet claimed Haggerty couldn't beat ties and that he will knock Haggerty out.
ผมก็ประสบการณ์ผมก็เยอะเหมือนกันครับผมสามารถต่อน็อกแฮกเกอร์ตี้ได้ครับผม Come at me, baby.
With such strong words said by Monkompet, Haggerty fought with something to prove. The general threw every shot with real intent, and he was nearly untouchable from the outside. He was even beautifully switching stances to overwhelm the Thai champion. It was a dominating performance from Haggerty.
That's what Monkompet's got.
Hard. Good movement, John.
With this fight, the general showed that he is truly ready to keep fighting A-class Thai opponents. After the fight, Both of the fighters were pure class with a little hug on the floor, followed by a nice kiss. In the next fight, Haggerty then moved up from flyweight to bantamweight and fought against a Russian phenom.
We're looking at Haggerty 2.0. This is the best Haggerty that would ever touch foot in the cage.
After a very close fight, Haggerty had the balls to call out the greatest Muay Thai fighter of this era. He called out his idol, the legendary Nong-O.
Well, I did say I'd come out here and not call anyone out, but as soon as I'm here now, Nong-O, I'd love to fight Nong-O, it'd be a dream come true.
If you don't know who Nong-O is, know that he is a god of Muay Thai. Nong-O is a pound for pound great, and if Saenchai had not existed, he would be considered the definitive GOAT of this era. By the time Haggerty called out the legend, Nong-O was already an 8x1 Muay Thai world champion. He was looking unstoppable with a 10-fight win streak, and half of those fights were by epic knockouts.
Came around and attacked the liver. Oh!
But if we know one thing about Haggerty, is that he faces fear with courage. He fights best against fighters he's not supposed to beat. This spirit is what gave us the greatest underdog story the Muay Thai world has ever seen. Not only did Haggerty go up against the greatest of all time, he even faced the GOAT in his home country. By going up against the GOAT in enemy territory, all the odds were against the underdog. But as we said since the beginning, never count out a man who believes in himself.
I've been following Nong-O since I was a kid. He's an idol, but now he's a rival. Train hard until your idols become your rivals. You come up, mate. Dream big, mate.
I won championship belt.
Would you say that's an obsession?
Obsession, obsessed. That is obviously the belt that everybody wants, and I've had and I've lost. So I want it more than anything now, again.
To put it into perspective of how scary Nong-O is, simply watch him destroy other elite fighters.
The great Nong-O! This man truly is excellence of execution. He is flawless. One punch knockout from Nong-O.
ส่วนตัวผมนะครับคิดว่าก็น่าจะเป็นจุดสูงสุดแล้วครับ
Nong-O cementing his legacy as one of the all-time greatest.
There's no other better man to face Nong-O than me. They gave it to me because I am the best in the world, and greatness cannot be denied.
จะชนะน็อกจอห์น Haggertyให้ได้จะไม่เสียแชมป์จนกว่าผมจะแขนงอครับแล้วก็ไม่มีใครจะมากระชากเข็มขัดเช่นนี้ของผมได้
Haggerty was ranked number 5 in the bantamweight division. To understand how good Nong-O is, simply watch what he did against the top 4 opponents.
Time and time again, I've shown. Don't doubt me, you know. The doubters are just fueling the fire, and they make me work hard.
Styles make matches, and Jonathan Haggerty has the style that could disrupt the champ tonight.
At the beginning of this legendary fight, it was all smiles as both sides trade low kicks. It was a strong start from Haggerty. His tricky switch hitting to explode into techniques was working beautifully. Haggerty was even able to floor the champion with a sweep, but this only made Nong-O turn up his aggression. The GOAT hunted Haggerty's body with big roundhouses and also sniped him with low kicks. Haggerty would later say that this first low kick Nong-O threw rocked him. This made Haggerty dig deep and try to finish the fight. So while Haggerty put on a poker face, he knew he had to target the head. He was able to land a nice cross, but the GOAT shook it off and said nice try. With Nong-O continuing to hunt Haggerty, the underdog landed a nice combination once again. This earned a smile from Nong-O, but believing that Haggerty cannot actually hurt him, he continues pressing forward. Haggerty shows great composure by continuing to snipe the legend. This fully activated Nong-O's aggressive fight energy, and it was Nong-O's mistake. The problem is, he was falling into Haggerty's trap. While the GOAT thought Haggerty couldn't hurt him because he is the better fighter, no one should think that they are invincible. As Nong-O stepped in aggressively, Haggerty fires a jabbing hand trap and sets up his overhand with it. With the force from the overhand, combined with Nong-O's entry, this put Nong-O down for the first time. This was a masterful bait, and the general knew he was about to shock the world. Knowing that he was about to pull off the biggest upset in Muay Thai history, he walks off screaming. But Nong-O gets up like a real champion and tries to keep fighting. Haggerty doesn't waste any time overwhelming Nong-O. He hits Nong-O with a big flurry, eventually landing a straight 1-2 that again sends him to the canvas. But Nong-O, like the legend that he is, showed true grit and didn't give up. He got up right away and expressed eagerness to fight. With 30 seconds of the round left, he wanted to try and survive. As the referee forced Haggerty back on the reset, he wastes no time and begins overwhelming the GOAT. This is what finished the GOAT. After landing inside the clinch, Haggerty was able to post Nong-O's face with his lead arm, freeing his rear arm to come over the top with a slashing elbow. By breaking the posture of Nong-O, Haggerty can then tee off with a barrage of punches, eventually catching Nong-O with a lead hook into right cross. And just like that, Haggerty shook up the whole world.
Jonathan Haggerty, another heavy right in the left. Haggerty can sense the belt, he can feel the title within reach.
You can see how much this fight meant to Haggerty and his team as they embraced each other after the fight. This was the ultimate display of what is possible with tremendous self-belief.
We are in Thailand. This is a Nong-O heavy crowd right here. And Jonathan Haggerty just pulled the biggest upset on his home turf.
Jonathan Haggerty is only 26 years young, and he's already had a remarkable career. The General overcame tough losses and came back to cement his legendary status. Showing tremendous resilience and growth, this is what a real champion is made of. From a young prodigy to the underdog champion, he's seen it all and done it all. He proved all the doubters wrong, and the only thing that he has left to capture is becoming the greatest of all time. So, what's next for this young superstar? Will he capture an MMA belt as he stated?
Kickboxing or MMA or something? MMA is the main goal. Yeah, it's the main goal.
3 belts. 1 championship belts. Hey!
Or will he be honoured with a trilogy with Rodtang, the scariest Muay Thai fighter of this era?
Haggerty, you can't find me.
It's a matter
What we know for sure is that Haggerty has cemented his status as a legend. There will continue to be doubters, but after the win against Nong-O, he should never be counted as an underdog ever again. Thank you for watching another episode of Lawrence Kenshin Striking Breakdowns. The best way you can support us is by watching another episode. Would love to hear your thoughts on Jonathan Haggerty's rise and the potential matchups within one championship in the comment section below.